Hi, everybody. I'm Alan Killingsworth, and I'm coming at you from Bainbridge, Georgia, where I was born and raised. Currently, I work at Bainbridge State College, which is the community, a little community college that we have here in Bainbridge. I've worked here since 2007, and I've served in many different positions at Bainbridge State. I started off as a work study student, as a little, I guess you could consider me a secretary for our technical programs that we have in our technical school. Then I moved to I was a part-time secretary for like a semester, and then I found my home in the tutoring center at Bainbridge State College, where I worked there for about 6 years. The last year I served as I guess you could say manager, but my title was head peer mentor. And the whole time, while I was going to school, I worked at Bainbridge State College. I received my Bachelor of Arts degree in political science from Valdosta State in 2013. After I graduated from Valdosta State, about let's say it was about September, or maybe yeah, September, I became an admissions advisor for Bainbridge State, which is another glorified name for a recruiter. I served as a recruiter from probably September till of 2013 till maybe uh, yeah, it was July of 2015. Um, in July 2015, I became a financial aid advisor for Bainbridge State College. And let me tell you, there is nothing like working in financial aid. It is very interesting. I believe I have met half the students that come to our school. Um, for the most part, it's a pretty good job. It does get pretty hard sometimes. I also handle the financial aid for the Move On Ready students in the Move On Ready program that we have. I think we have about 300 to 400 Move On Ready students, and let me tell you, it's a lot of work getting their stuff situated for their financial aid. Um, I guess you can say I first became interested in working in higher education back when I started going to the school because my first job was a job in higher education. I started off, like I said, as a work study student. And I just, I've always wanted to work jobs where I felt like I was helping people. I've always had that desire, and working in higher education has helped me fulfill that desire because I truly believe that when I go to work every day, that I'm making a difference in somebody's life, not live. Um, and that kind of gives me a good feeling. Um, right now, like I said, I'm working in financial aid, and I'm going to stick with that for at least a year or so to kind of get as much experience as I can in that area. And once I receive my master's degree, I kind of want to look around and see if I can find a position that's a little bit higher than where I'm at now. I would like to get into advising. I believe that we need a lot of good advisors out there to help our students, especially during their first year of college. And I can see myself as being an advisor, in the long run. My ultimate goal in higher education, I would say my future, that I can tell right now is I would love to be a vice president of student affairs. I've gotten to know ours at Bainbridge State College pretty well, and I would love to do what he does because the VP of Student Affairs is probably the one of the most important people that we have in the department. He's in charge of the final decisions and stuff that happens, and I would say that he probably the policies and stuff that he puts in place changes a lot of lives every day, and that's just something that I want to do. I know it's not a pretty good explanation. I'm still working on it, but anyway. So let's talk about my pre-definition of higher education governance. I gotta I gotta confess, I really didn't know that much about higher education governance when I first started this class, which was only what 2 weeks ago. And my pre-definition, I stated that governance in higher education is basically the system that's put in place to control higher education. And I gotta admit, I did not go into a lot of detail. But after reading the articles that we had to read for this week, and also doing some, research on my own, I realized that higher education governance is a whole lot more than just the system that's put into place to control higher education. In fact, higher education governance can be first defined as the organizational structure and decision-making process of an institution of higher education. And that seems simple enough, but really, that whole definition, there's a lot of meaning in that, because as far as organizational structures of an institution, you can have a board of trustees or something like that who helps govern the school. And basically, what they do is they set goals for the school to achieve, and these goals are long-term goals. And also, it was important for me to realize that there's a stark difference between higher education governance and higher education management. Management is really concerns itself with the day-to-day operations of a higher education institution, but really those day-to-day operations help achieve those long-term goals that the system of governance is trying to achieve. And also pointed out in my discussion post concerning my post definition that with higher education governance, there is no one size fits all system, and governance is influenced by a lot of different actors on a lot of different levels, like the local, state, and federal, or even global levels. And higher education is ever changing, and I don't think people realize that higher education, the higher education system we see today, might not be the same 2 years from now. And I think that governance of higher education, it's important that the it's important that the system of governance of higher education changes with the way that higher education changes. And to summarize my excuse me, to summarize my post definition of higher education, I would say that higher education governance is the organizational structure and decision making process that provides long term goals for an institution of higher education to achieve. And those goals help fulfill the needs and desires of interested parties, which are on the local, state, and federal levels. I thank you for sticking through this video with me. I got to admit, I'm not the best at making these videos. I don't really enjoy them, but hopefully I will get better with them as the semester goes on. I'm looking forward to learning with all of you, and I can't wait to see what we learn next. Thank you, and have a good